Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and this evening, I got an amazing young lion by the name of Naiim on with us. He is new to me, but I swear to you, I'll be talking to you about it for years to come. He's smooth with it, he's clever, and they describe him as having a dichotomous personality. Now, that means either it's a yes or no. It's two-sided. That's all it means. So y'all don't trip. But the brother, I like his music, and we're here talking to him. The new joint is called Dusty Winds. Naiim, welcome.
Hey, how we doing? How we doing, my man?
Of course, of course. I'm gonna repeat it like I said it earlier. I'm amazing. Can't cry, can't complain. I get a chance to talk to amazing people like yourself. So I'm getting ready to enjoy this conversation. So thanks so much.
I love
Thanks
it.
so much for being with us. All
And
right,
thank you for
man.
having me.
Oh man, it's all good. All good. All right. So for those of us just meeting you, I got all the press materials. I've done a little research in there, and I hear what everybody else is saying, but I want to know from the inside looking out how you see Naiim, the artist.
Oof. Yeah, that's a question. I mean, how I see Naeem the artist is I would say an artist who dances outside the box, you know? An artist who started in the box and decided to step out of the box. An artist who's not afraid of, pushing his limits, pushing the boundaries and trying different things, you know. I try to I try to I try to communicate my feelings through my art in any way, shape, or form that I can by combining different genres and dancing in different genres. And that's how I would describe Naeem the artist, somebody who lives on a spectrum of emotions and tries to communicate that to the best of his abilities to the world.
Okay, okay, okay. I like that. Was there a defining moment that brought you to music as a career?
Yeah, for sure. When I was a kid, I bought my first album, which was the Ludacris album, Red Light District,
Okay,
and
okay.
yeah, and my parents obviously didn't even know I had that tape. I just snuck out and went and bought it. But I remember hearing that for the first time and being like, "Nah, this is what I want to do with my life." Like I just fell in love with hip hop in that moment, right then and there. And from that point on, I started writing my little raps at my desk where I was supposed to be doing my homework.
Huh. So was this like middle school, elementary school?
I was
You probably didn't
13.
have no money in elementary school, so
No, I didn't have no money in elementary school, so I was 13. I don't know school you're in
15,
at
high
that
school,
age.
probably high school,
High school, yeah, something like that, like grade
sophomore.
8, grade 7. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
all right. So you heard it and you decided this is what I'm going to do, and
yeah, exactly.
okay. So as you progressed through your journey, like when was the first time that you stepped behind the mic professionally, and how did it feel for you?
Yeah, how did it feel? Oh, that's the so basically, I started writing raps when I was 13. Maybe a year or two later, I was playing around my dad's computer and saw that I could record my voice.
Okay.
So I was playing beats in the background. My brother would play beats in the background, and then I would start, spit my raps and hear my voice back and be like, "No, this is crazy. This became it." The second I heard my voice back, I was like, "This is my hobby." Like, not the video games, not all that, because I wasn't even allowed to play video games growing up. My parents were hella strict. Um, but the second I heard myself back, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I kept playing around with it, started discovering different recording softwares, learned through YouTube how to do it myself. And then it progressed into like, being like just beats playing in the background with my voice on top of it to actually like putting the beats in the recording software and then layering my vocals and then creating full on tracks and then doing the talent shows at school and performing my songs in front of, the whole school and just seeing people's reactions and seeing my peers reactions and be like, nah, like this is crazy, just felt so good to me. And that's what kind of like kept me going and what made me feel validated and made me feel good about what I was doing. So I was kind of like creating my own little world that I could go in and dance in. And it's like I was, like I played ball in middle school and high school, but I was never the best on the team, and I was never the best at anything else other than making music because I don't know, I just loved it so much. So I was like, I'm so good at this, then I'm gonna focus my energy on this, and I'm having so much fun at it.
Mm.
And so I did that as my hobby, you know.
Man, I remember the first time I heard my voice on tape. My one of my aunts had that little 1/4 inch reel to reel thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we recorded. First time I heard my voice, I said, "Oh, I sound like a dork." And 20 years later, somebody says, "Oh, you belong on radio." I'm like, I don't belong
Yep.
on radio. You know what I mean? How did you feel when you first heard your voice back at you?
Bro, it's the exact same feeling because it's like you're so used to hearing your voice, when you're speaking, but when you hear it back on a recorded tape, it sounds completely different. So you're obviously shocked at first, and you're like, I don't know about this, but you sort of get through that and you get used to it. But yeah, I mean, just sorry, going back to you though, in terms of your voice, you have like a golden voice, so it's like you do sound like you should be on radio.
Oh, young lion, you do wonders for my ego. You do wonders for my ego, man. All right, then. All right, then. I'm rocking with you. I'm rocking with you. Even more now. Look at you. Uh, I would like to know
Yeah.
what is the most satisfying for you about making the music? Is it just the fact that you getting whatever's on your mind off your chest?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a means of catharsis for me. I definitely have that element where it's like it's like it's therapeutic to me. But at the same time, it's also about me creating the music that I want to hear. Like I have the luxury to actually be able to go in the studio and record what I want to hear. Like I don't necessarily have to go and look up playlists and look up new songs and listen to that. Like I can actually go and make something that's my baby and that I feel really good about, and that like it's what I want to hear. So it's like that's the most satisfying thing for me.
Okay. So you're really
Yeah.
making music for you. And
Yeah,
if
at
other
first I
people
made
happen to
music for
like
me.
it, that's great.
1000%. That's how it started. I started making music for myself because I really enjoyed it and I was making the things that like, you know, I wanted to hear. So it's obviously it starts with doing it for me. But as time went on, you start realizing that people can sort of inject their own stories within your own message, and you see the effect and how profound that can be for others. And, you feel like you have a totally different responsibility as well with that,
Mm.
which is also something that I really appreciate. But it definitely starts with the self for me.
How did you feel when you found out from like maybe some fan engagement that you were actually meeting people where they were?
Oof, that's a really good question. I mean, I think it's when you get comments like, this song really helped me go through such and such. Just like recently, like there's this, well, not necessarily that recently, but maybe 2 years ago, I released a song called Hitting the Moon, which was a little poignant. And um, it's a little deep. And I was getting messages like, like this helped me get through such and such. And that's really, really when I realized that, like, yeah, like I'm meeting people where they're at, and I'm actually a part of these people's journeys, in a sense, and they can see themselves in me, and I can see myself in them because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all go through things. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And it's all about talking about real things and real life events that you kind of get to a place where it's like you listen to a piece of music and you're like, oh well, I'm not the only person who feels this way. I'm not the only person who's gone through this. You
right.
know?
Did it give you
Yeah.
an additional level of comfort knowing that you're not alone in your experiences? Other people just don't have the platform to talk about it?
1000%, 1000%. Yeah, I mean that statement right there is perfect. And I would say like if I was to say like who I create music for is or what I create music for, other than creating it for myself and as a means of catharsis, it's also to like make the invisible feel invincible in a way. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I would put the tag on your music as forever music, being it's timeless.
Thank you.
And I can see that, people have problems and issues and feelings, and they think that it's unique, but really those problems, feelings, and issues have been around for thousands of years, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wear a certain uniform in this world, um, they're more intense, maybe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And without getting too political, I mean, but it is what it is. And um, you know, no matter where you come from, in my opinion and my experience, and I've been all over the world, the people who
Mm-hmm.
wear, the uniform have the same experiences globally. And some regimes are a lot harsher than others,
Yep.
but it still leaves the same feelings of angst, depression, maybe a bit of rebelliousness, like I just don't want to take this anymore. And
Yep.
you're able to speak about it. So like I really was intrigued that you opened Dusty Wind uh with the Western theme and the acoustic
Right.
guitar and all that good stuff, put it together. I'm like, where's he going with this?
Right.
Then so it made me lean forward, you know what I mean? Like, okay, what's
Yeah.
up? What's going on?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
came with some lyrical missiles. I'm like, okay, he tricked me.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was going to be. I want you to explain it because I'm old and my outlook is one way, but I would like to know, what it's about for you. I know it's a
Yeah.
statement piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So as in like what the message behind the song is?
Yeah, because it actually, made me feel like, yeah, throw my chest
Yeah.
out like, what up though? Let's get
A
it.
100%. No, that's exactly what it is. It's a type of record to, add a little pep in your step, and that's literally all I wanted to get across and get off my chest because actually when I made the record, I was at a moment in time where I kind of felt I didn't feel as confident, like I didn't feel too good in that moment. So I felt like I needed something to rev me up. And just like, positive affirmations are super crucial, and it's something that I do on a daily basis. This song is like a positive affirmation for me. You know what I mean? And I really wanted to get that message across. And like even like the opening line is like to keep the peace, I gotta meditate. It's like, like the record is super hard hitting, but there's still a message behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like to keep the peace, I gotta meditate. And then the rest of the song is literally just about the fact that like I am good enough. I'm coming in, I'm taking what I need, and nobody can stop me from doing that. And I'm coming in with my team. I'm gonna feed the people around me, and we're gonna do this together. You know,
Mm.
and even in the production, you really feel that essence. You really feel that mood, because it's just so hard hitting. So it's like, yeah, I just wanted to make something that people could turn on. Maybe if they're feeling down, or maybe they need to have just a little bit more energy, or they're already turned up and they just want to keep riding the wave. But that's all I wanted to do with this song.
You made it happen for me. You know,
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I'm feeling that. And then when the 808 came in, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
hell no.
yeah,
Indeed. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah. It didn't make me want to go get in nobody's face, but at the same time, I wasn't taking no crap. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
I was in that mindset
exactly.
like, bump what you talking about. I know I'm good enough.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
okay for me to acknowledge that I'm great at what I do. And
1,000%, and you should feel that way. You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's like everybody's got something that's great about them,
right.
and there's nothing wrong with putting your chest out at times and sort of showcasing that off because we all have amazing attributes, and that's what this song is all about.
Okay. So I I hit it then. I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it. I like it.
Yeah.
So what you got coming up next, bro?
Yeah, so this is the first of many songs. Um, so this is the first song coming out, and then we're gonna lead that with two more singles, and then we're gonna drop a tape titled "It Goes Without Saying."
Okay. Is there a
Yeah.
date for It Goes Without Saying, or are you just slow rolling it, or what are you doing?
So we're slow rolling it out. There's no official set date as to when that's gonna be coming out, but likely, March, Feb of 2023. So we just gotta get through those first three singles.
Okay, so first quarter we could be probably looking uh for the EP. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see what you put
yeah.
together.
Thank you.
I want to see how it's sequenced because
Thank you.
I'm kind of like, okay, the way that you laid out Dusty Winds, which of course was my introduction to you, and then
Yep.
I did let Spotify play a little bit, and
Yep.
it ran through some of your joints. I'm like, okay, there's an evolution there that
Yep.
is really pronounced.
Yep.
And when did you like No Peace, right? So No Peace, hell of an audience, really tight joint, really speaks. It it hit a few playlists, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
there's a difference in No Peace to Dusty
Yeah.
Wind. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
How and was there something that made you want to change up, or was it just that at this time you had something different to say and you wanted to be a little more aggressive with it?
100%. I definitely think that I just had a completely different message at the time. I believe that song came out in 2019. And right, like in that moment, I had just gone through a nasty breakup. I was in a mood. And that's why that song came out the way it did at the time, like dark lane, R&B, hip hop type stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So do you produce your own joints? You have some.
No, I don't. Yeah, so for instance, Dusty Winds is produced by my boy Shaz. But I work with a boatload of producers. But I guess you could say I produce my songs in the sense that like, I do the arrangements and I know where to place what elements in the production and say like, oh, this needs to go there and this needs to go there. Or maybe even guide the producer who's playing the keys and be like, I want this kind of sound. So I guess I produce in that sort of sense, but I'm not the person making the beats at the end of the day. No.
Okay, but you have some oversight
Yeah,
as
100%.
as to the product. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm always trying to curate my world.
okay. With that being
Yeah,
said, then with all the sounds that you hear in the songs and melodies and things that you're coming up in your own head, are you still able to vibe
yeah.
out to music just as a consumer, or has that experience been kind of jaded for you?
That's a great question. I definitely think that music, like a great piece of music is a great piece of music, and you got to respect it, and it always feels good.
Mhm.
But I will say that because you learn the tricks of the trade and you understand how it's done and you listen to so much music on a daily basis as a
Right.
creative yourself, you do kind of get jaded just a tad bit off of listening to music. And, you know, I think that it could be perceived as a negative thing at times, but I think that the silver lining in it is that it forces you to literally go look for different pieces of music that you wouldn't typically listen to, and that may be completely outside of your comfort zone, or that like you wouldn't necessarily like swim in that particular type of world. You know what I mean? So it really opens your horizons and allows you to learn more.
Okay. So
Yeah.
analysis is just part of the daily routine. It's just part of the game for you.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
For
Uh,
sure.
I'm I have the same issue as a journalist. I get a lot of music, and for me, you got 30 seconds.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And
100%.
I don't make music. I'm just learning to play the guitar. So,
Okay.
if you look, I'm 59 years old. I got to do something. You know what I mean? And
You got a whole life ahead of you.
Well, as much as it's left, I guess, you know what I mean? I'd like to have another 50. Let's see how it goes. I want to be able to at least play one song all the way through flawlessly. So somebody
There
can
you
go,
go.
ooh. I get that one ooh when I'm done. I'll be like, yeah, I made it. I made it. I'm good. You know, so like for you, what's the best source of energy for you to keep creating? What makes you salivate about making music?
Oh man, I think it's about I I don't know. I really think it's about all types of energies because different types of energies will allow you to tap into different types of sounds, quite honestly. So I don't think there's a particular type of energy that conduces me to creating music. I think it's more so about taking my surroundings and taking my current experiences and my current feelings and laying them out however I can. Of course, with creating art, there's ups and downs, there's peaks and valleys, there's moments where you're a lot more productive than others. But those low points where you're not creating as much, um, is basically, God or the universe telling you like you need to take in some information to be able to come back to the drawing board and create something else. You know what I mean? So it's a balance. It's all about balance at the end of the day. But I wouldn't say there's a particular type of energy that conduces me to creating my music.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Do you ever have blank moments? Like there are moments in the middle of a story, maybe I have to get up and walk away because I've
yeah,
just, overburdened myself. Maybe in the first
yep,
two paragraphs, I'm like, I gotta find a close for this. So
yeah.
how do you work through that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it always happens. It's just like I said, it's peaks and valleys, but the way you work through that to me is essentially um you just push through it and you get it done because at the end of the day, it's about consistency. And even if it's not good, at least you did something, and that's the most important thing.
Mm,
I think it was somebody had an amazing analogy. I'm not sure exactly, and don't quote me on this, but I think it was Ed Sheeran who said that creating art or creating a song is essentially like turning on um, a faucet of water. And sometimes you got to let the dirty water, run through before you start getting the clear water, which is exactly the same thing, or how I look at it when I'm making music. Sometimes you got to make bad songs to make great songs.
mm.
So even when I don't feel like I'm doing something good or I'm not really liking it, I try to push through it because eventually I might make two or three bad songs, and the fourth one is just stellar. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about consistency and pushing through.
Mm. Okay, so how long will you work on a song, do you think, before you just say, you know what, it's not going to get any better with this one?
I mean, it's a case by case scenario. It really is a case by case scenario. Sometimes I'll just get a hook and a verse, and I'll just be like, you know what, this is not really it, but at least I got that done, and then I'll go to something else. But it's a case by case basis. There's certain songs that take me a month to finish. There's certain songs that I finish within 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It all really depends.
Okay, so when it hits you, and then sometimes
Yeah,
you got to work for it, and that's to be expected with anything.
yeah,
Uh,
one hundred
as a
percent.
as a as a creative, and then as a creative, you could be kind of sensitive about the way the product is turning out, and you be like,
Yep,
nah.
yep, yep. Exactly.
I completely understand. I understand. You're a real interesting cat, man. I just
Thank you.
am amazed I hadn't heard of you before. And I'm glad now that, you know, I was able to discover you through your team. And amazing team, by the way, that you have. So um,
Thank you.
I'm glad that they got this to me. And I get about 200 a day. So
Oh wow.
the fact that we're here talking for me says something. Great team, persistent team, and then
Of course.
the product was flat out amazing. I'm like, yeah,
Thank you so much.
we're going to make this happen. You know what I mean? One way or the other. Brother
Oh
Naiim,
yeah.
is there anything you wanted to cover that I may have neglected?
I mean, not necessarily. I think we covered it all for me. Um, at the end of the day, I'm just a creative doing, what I love to do. Um, and I hope that I can help people through my message, and through my story. But really, I'm just doing what I love to do, and it's a blessing to be here, point blank, period.
Mm, I
Yeah,
love it. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have spoken with you. I'm grateful, you know,
likewise.
that God put you in my path and that I could, be a part of your story in a little bit by sharing you with our audience. You know what I mean?
And I
Um,
really appreciate that.
man, I give credit where credit is due. If I didn't like you, I would have told your team no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also respectable too.
You know, I would have it would have just been a nope. And we'd have moved on. But I'm excited to see where you go and how far you develop. And I see you rocking arenas and shutting it down. So maybe I'll get a ticket or a backstage pass and I can see it from the wings. And I'd be like, I told you
Got you.
this cat was going to do
Hell yeah.
something massive. You know what I mean? So I love it. All
Hell
right,
yeah.
man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Definitely looking forward to the project. It goes without saying next year. I insist, and I will probably bug your team around January, February. I'm going to put it in my tickle folder to remind
Please.
them that I need Brother Naiim's music, and let's make it happen. You got a friend here at the Hype Magazine for sure, and a new fan
Hell yeah.
for certain. I love to support. All right, everybody. The Hype Magazine live sessions. Hey, look, this young lion here, Naiim, has got something to say. We need to hear it. And he comes from the heart. And he's doing it because he loves it. And it shows in the quality of his products. You know what I mean? This new joint, Dusty Winds, is something pretty special. It will take you on a ride, but he's going to deposit you safely on the other side. And it's an adventure that's worth taking. Naiim is, man, tell them where they can find you.
Y'all can find me at on Instagram at Naiim Sounds, NAIIMSOUNDS, or on all streaming platforms, just typing in NAIIM Naiim. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate it as well. Great conversation. Look forward to supporting you. Till the next time, the Hype Magazine live sessions. Peace.